That's just crazy. Okay, so a stack of flyers. Kelly King, very attractive redhead with green eyes, a
I'm sorry.
sophomore, missing almost a year now, hailing from the region of Boston, Massachusetts, probably one of the outlying suburbs, but uh, the name of which would be meaningless to someone who's probably heard of Boston. Could probably put a thumbtack on a map and locate that large city. Very sad.
Oh, it showed where she was last seen?
No, no.
Oh, okay, I was say.
That is where she was from, but she was an ETU student, and she
Oh, okay.
disappeared from Pinebox. Um, it's a good point. Last seen at the Pizza Barn,
The pizza
11:15
ball.
p.m.
Ah.
Pinebox. Anybody in Pinebox would immediately know the Pizza Barn.
Hmm. We have coupons.
This is true. They never
Thanks
expire.
to Brittany.
They never expire. That's right.
They never expire. Oh man, those are the best kind of coupons. Goodness gracious.
Hmm.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
I'm upset I've been abandoned by coffee and muffins. I thought we were friends.
Priorities exist.
We are friends. We are.
I thought you
We
were
are.
my friend. I thought you were my boyfriend. What is this?
I thought he was
I-
my friend.
I was right where y'all
Now we're
told me
just
to
pointing
be.
fingers.
Here's your purses.
I don't carry a purse.
Mary Lynn grabs those
That's so
three
funny.
sheets
Called a
and
fanny
she's
pack.
taken them up to the register area, and she returns with a memo pad and a pen, lays it down, and she's like, "Well, if you decide that you would like a job, I'm offering it to you on the spot. Put your contact information
Oh.
down there. No pressure, but I really need help. But no pressure, but I'm desperate.
No pressure.
But no
And
pressure.
how
But I just do just about
No
anything
pressure.
at this
You
point."
know,
and how late is were the shifts again, Miss Mary?
Well, I usually close down before 9. Do a little cleanup
that's not bad.
before closing down, but
And it revolves around the school schedule, right?
oh, of course,
Mhm.
of course.
That's not terrible. Um,
And if you're living on campus in the dorms or whatever, and it's noisy and it's loud, you can feel to come here and study, even after you get your own key
Okay.
after hours.
yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds good, actually.
Yeah. Shep will put down his contact information, and he'll pass it over to Ava to look at.
I think she would be interested in working in a little quiet cafe.
it's
Like honestly, yes, a quiet cafe with books across the street from her favorite comic book store. Sign me up. She's a big she's a big goody two shoes who's trying to study all the time and get her stuff in. So do the thing.
also pretty
She did
close.
just clean the bathroom.
Pretty close is probably about 3 city blocks, so they're small blocks. About 3 blocks away from Pinebox Pawn, where Forrester Harris,
Oh
the
yes,
proprietor,
Okay.
owns
that
and
is
operates
also
that
good.
establishment.
Okay. I
And
mean,
she's like,
someone already mistook me for working here already, so
"Mhm.
I would be okay with signing up to assist.
Good, good." She's like, "Great, great. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. I just gotta, just prepare the tax forms and all, but it's pretty informal."
Can do.
I could pay you by shift. I could pay you, every week, every 2 weeks, as long as Uncle Sam gets his withholding. He's happy. I'm happy. You're happy.
I would say weekly would work for me. What about you, Ava?
Yeah, I think that's okay. Weekly sounds
Just
reasonable.
yeah, look at Ava. Just think, this will help pay for the con that we're going to.
Oh,
in spring.
100%. 100%. New comics, new costumes. Yeah. And Sophia,
And we
you could
both
probably
look
be
over
hired
at
on
Sophia.
commission.
I was thinking that, yeah.
You could be hired for commission to come do the art every so often.
It'd be a seasonal thing. Easter here, Halloween there. As long as I'm in town and in the school.
He says, "Well, can you do a bunny? I'm sure you can do a bunny,
I can
right?"
do a bunny.
You know,
Yeah.
she's already starting to think about the almost like monthly. Every month seems to be some sort of
Oh, there's a holiday for
or
everything.
something.
Well, like National Deep Dish Pizza Day. I'm sure there's
National
a Siblings
Donut
Day,
Mm-hmm.
Donut
Women's
Pie
Day,
Siblings
Mother's
Day was
Day,
yesterday.
Father's Day. May the 4th is coming up.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We are definitely interested. I do think if you want us to, we could start tomorrow.
Ooh.
Perfect. That works great. She says, "I'm going to have to get an extra key made," but she slides a key across the counter to you, Shep.
Okay, thank you. You want us to just do a morning shift so we can learn the ropes, or would you prefer us to come in the afternoon and work the night shift?
I don't mind closing.
Yeah, whatever works good for you. If you want, just take the key and just make your way around and get familiar with the lay of the land, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we'll take a walk around, and then we need to go and let our roommates know that we are employed.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Yeah, by tomorrow I'll have a printout of all all the sections here that you can memorize a little at a time to point people in the right direction. Science and
Sounds good.
fiction and nonfiction and religious books and different kinds of story, different genre, of literature. Your romance novels and your excitements and your spy novels and whatnot. The process for submitting a search and a request for a rare book that somebody may occasionally come in and want to order. She's saying this all to you as she's pouring somebody else a cup of coffee. They say, "Oh, you can do that?" She's like, "Of course I can. Got a favorite author? There's a book you're looking for? One you're hoping to come across? Something that might be a little bit rare? Just let me know. I'll see if I can get my hands on it for you." "Well, that's great," the guy says. "That's great."
Good to know. We should probably utilize that.
Doesn't take a notice roll or any sort of intuition just to see that Mary Lynn seems to. It looks like she's got the weight of the world that's just been kind of taken off her shoulders. She looks relieved that she's going to be getting some help. And all in all, I mean, this is going to be really easy work. It's a relaxed atmosphere.
And cafe work is great. Usually very flexible. You have to wear a lot of hats, but it's pretty flexible. It's a good time. I miss being a barista.
All right. Should I make a spirit roll? Very good.
Do I also have to make a spirit roll?
Why would you have to?
I just was wondering. I didn't know if I misheard something. I was crunching on a chip.
Yeah.
No, I'm being honest.
The endless, bottomless bag, it seems.
It feels like it.
Shep, your tante, your great 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 aunt. I probably left out a great. If so, I apologize. Is sitting on the stool next to you, which is odd. She's actually kind of hovering in midair in a seated position. Oh, mon petit chou, I do miss a good cup of coffee. Tell me, is it as savory as it looks?
Why, yes. The chicory is just right.
Oh, chicory. At times I envy you, mon petit chou. And it's very fitting that she's calling you mon petit chou, which means something like my little sweet cake, as they have little sweet cakes for sale here.
That's cute.
Mon petit chou, there is a room upstairs. A room surrounded by a barrier from the inside. A barrier against sound. A barrier against things that don't belong. And there is a what seems to be a troubled girl trapped. I can only briefly view it from my own plane, as the barrier seems to keep me restricted as well. It is what I saw: shelves, a map, a big map, a room with no doors. Is that a chocolate croissant? I guess they had chocolate croissants like 80 years ago.
A chocolate
Or
croissant.
100 years ago.
They did. I mean, they did have like eclairs and stuff quite a long time ago, so I'm sure they could stuff something with chocolate.
She's peering at it very closely. That looks delicious, she says.
Eat it. Eat
it. It is. Which side of the building is this room?
She looks straight up. Up there.
I look up. Okay. So we're about center of the building?
She nods. Powerful magics. Magics of warding. Barriers. Circles of power.
Okay. I asked Mary Lynn for an extra napkin so I can take my chocolate eclair croissant with me.
Sure. I mean, they're probably little stacks, little napkin dispensers. Every third seat or so.
Tell her we'll be back later. We may be back closer to close just so we can see what it's like and not bother the customers while we're familiarizing ourselves.
Yes. I think that would be great.
Sweetie, if I do run that background check against your names and whatnot, nothing's going to pop up, right?
Of course not. Right, guys?
I don't think so.
So, but if you see somebody named Erica on there, just know she's a very good person and works at the hospital as a candy striper. She's just very unlucky with parking tickets.
Oh, does she live here in town? I understand that.
Yes.
Yep.
She's not going to call them. She's not going to call them Nazis. She's going to say that
The Fuzz.
Pinebox's finest are very, very efficient at staying on top of expired meters. So say.
But that's all I can think of. Just because she is our roommate, so we have had to help her, take her back and forth and stuff like that. But
okay, you're saying this in case she runs your address, and this other person
Right.
comes up on the address.
Yeah.
Docket. Or
We
whatever.
all live together in under one roof. There's 5 of us, so
good deal.
If you see anything like that, that is most definitely our roommate and friend.
Blame everything on Erica.
She's a bit of a wild card, but she's sweet, and her chili is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she says, there's one trouble magnet in every crowd. She says, not really knowing that Erica really does have the trouble magnet hindrance. Yeah, she'll go up and tend to the.
That's all I can think of.
Tend to the register.
Okay. Well, we'll see you later, Miss Marilyn.
She's almost floating. Yes, indeed.
Thank you kindly.
And as we leave, once we get outside, I will go. Oh, so, this guy came by saying he was looking for you. For a short, dark-haired girl who was really into him.
Oh, no, please.
But, I told him that her friend, the girl that... I basically told him Sophia is from Chicago and will shank him.
She's got a handmade shiv. She made it in prison.
He ran away.
She made it from an empty toothpaste tube. She's very proud of it.
I mean, we could call it that. I do have a small pocket knife, so
he decided he didn't want to be around anymore.
Thank you, Shep.
So Shep,
you're welcome.
You have a key to the establishment.
I can tell everyone you have a shiv.
Wait, within reason, actually, like with your boy problems, it seems to work. Yeah. Don't just like telling people that randomly. That's weird.
No. Only weird people who approach me. I'll tell them that you have a knife.
I mean, if Erica had been here, I would have just said she knows how to shoot. She has a rattlesnake rattle collection.
I picked up shooting, but I'm not great at it.
I've got shooting too.
But I'm small and not very intimidating, so...
Untrained -2, anything beats untrained -2.
That's true. I'll take it.
I have learned.
But
I still think it's funny every time for the first half of this semester. Y'all have been shooting stuff untrained, and Shep's just over there like, okay, I'm just going to use my slingshot with my little D4.
I can't even do that.
I'm sorry, Snowball. My goodness, don't look at me like that.
But as we leave, I would at some point
tripping me.
I would like at some point today before we come back to talk with Forrester.
Sure.
Because this warded room kind of makes me think we might need to know some more.
Maybe he knows about this missing girl. Oh, actually,
I
I would assume that Shep like relayed what.
Yeah, I would go. Oh, you remember that nice red-haired girl that spoke like she was from Boston?
Boston. Oh
Yeah,
man.
that's the girl that they were talking about.
Hmm.
I remember when she disappeared.
Oh, wait, Ava didn't remember her. Damn. I rolled
I
a
would
2.
describe, and you would all of a sudden go,
Ah.
"How do you know so much about her, Shep?"
Hold on now. Excuse me, sir?
I'm like, "Well, she was.
Mm.
We just she.
She stood out in a crowd.
I'm. We were hall friends."
Shep, your
funny.
fondest recollection of her was she had like this very faded green T-shirt that said "Kiss Me, I'm Irish," and it had probably been shrunk in the dryer one too many times because it was rather form-fitting. And on
Little
her,
crop top.
it looked good. It was, tight
That's
in the right
funny.
places. It just
The
exposed
little crop top.
a little bit of the midriff, and um,
Love it.
it was unpretentious. It suited her.
Excuse me, ma'am. I've got my own little
Oh, I'm
um,
sorry.
cultural reference point for kissing, and I prefer Mexican to potatoes. Bye.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. Yeah.
Irish potatoes. Oh my god. That's funny.
Because at that point, that's when Shep would be like,
Kiss me, I'm Irish.
"Let me
Back in
introduce you
freshman year.
to my friend Mir."
Yeah.
It's like, you get along great.
Very good.
Mm. So we're gonna leave for the day and then come back later this evening
Sure.
since we
Yeah.
have the key so we can get acquainted.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Get a good look at those windows.
Get a good look at those windows. Put some
And
measurements on them. Put some stencils.
Yeah.
when we're in
Yeah.
the truck, going over to Forrester's, I'll just go, Tante was saying that this room is a pr- pretty much above where we were at, but there's no doors. So
Oh,
above where we were seated.
okay.
But there were some
That's what
doors
I
we
will tell
didn't
them.
see. Because there was the door that had the camera, and then there was the other door that was for. Was it for employees only or something? I forgot. The one on the left-hand side did not have a camera, but the one in the middle, I remember had the camera and like you couldn't enter because it was locked.
Yeah, the employees one, I'm assuming, would be like where the
Maybe like
janitorial supplies and everything is. The supply room.
oh yeah, maybe a supply closet. So maybe the one room that is got the camera is like Marilyn's office.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's where we should go look for stuff.
I mean
If this key even unlocks it.
that bookstore's been around for a long time. A long time. I think 40s, 1940s, maybe even before then. It's still very much the original structure, unless I miss my mark. Sturdy construction, sturdy construction. The fear was in the days that wood construction would permit a fire in one of the businesses to spread, and kind of like the Chicago fire, half the town
Oh boy.
would burn in a great conflagration. So a lot of stone, a lot of masonry, a lot of brickwork, a lot of mortar. mortar and stone, to, to separate these buildings. So very sturdy construction, very solid. Um, a room with no doors? That is not unusual
Yes.
for those that wish to keep hidden things hidden and secret things secret.
Yes, Forrester, I have it on good authority that it is warded.
Okay.
From the supernatural.
There was a group of young people, much like yourselves, I would say, that were dedicated to the cause of ferreting out, seeking the unseen, and solving the unsolvable, and besting challenges, perhaps best left alone, but that might pose a threat to the inhabitants of Pinebox or this region. Yes, I remember them. Their names escape me, but I remember their faces. Lovely young people, and their teacher, Daniels. Yes. Unfortunately, I believe he turned up quite mad. If he's still alive, I'm not questioning that he's in some asylum somewhere. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I answered your question.
Is there anything that you feel we should prepare for to try to enter a room like that? Because there seems to be possibly a girl trapped within the room.
Yes, it might be a rescue mission.
Well, on the one hand, of course, there are wards to keep humans, us, at bay. In fact, I think that is what that wicked witch from the movie had cast just a tiny march of days ago to make it difficult to really enter that classroom. It was a ward, I believe it was a ward which would allow the caster to select what type of being or creature to affect. A ward to keep a human, something long lasting, would be unusual. Possible, I guess. Unusual. When I think of wards, I think of circles, pentagrams, to trap extra dimensional, extraplanar beings. You would call them devils. You would call them demons, or daemons, or imps.
Oh no.
You would call them
not imps again.
You would call them diabolic.
None of that sounds fun.
You know,
We've been through that once before,
all of
and
you
my butt paid for it.
Throw me a smarts die.
I remember the water tower. How could I forget?
That is unforgettable.
That girl's killing that boy. She shot him.
I drew it.
I remember the water tower too.
You know I wasn't shooting at you. There was a demon behind you.
Savage Worlds, the target number for success is a 4. Savage Worlds wild cards get not only their attribute die or their skill die, their normal die that they would roll. They also get a D6. It's like an extra chance for success. These good students needing a target roll of 4 have rolled smarts And they got a 7, a 5, and a 4, so they all succeeded. You all remember, because it was indeed only just a tiny march of days ago, that the wicked witch, in her human guise of Almira Gulch, the very prim schoolmarm, called Forrester Harris brother. And I'm going to paraphrase from memory, but she said something like, "Brother, join with me, join with us. Together we shall, spread delicious evil together." She said something like that. And with those rolls, I'll give you that little tidbit for free. As it happened in the middle of combat, there was a whole lot going on. There were people dying. There were people going down and bleeding out. Bad things were happening. Winged monkeys were like jumping around and hooting, snarling.
A lot happened that day.
People were coming back from the dead. I mean, it was just, there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But Forrester, the last thing he said was, you would call them ... diabolical.
But why would somebody want to trap something like that in a room rather than send them back?
Perhaps. This is just the only thing that comes to mind. I'm sure there are other reasons. Perhaps they wish to. When I say they, I would say the summoners, those who brought said creature from elsewhere. Perhaps asked said creature to do a service. And in return, the creature wanted, let's just say, an ounce of gold, a gallon of warm human blood. Make up something. You're imaginative, young students. And let's say that the summoners didn't have an ounce of gold or a gallon of blood, and they went off to obtain it and failed and died, had their memory wiped of that place and forgot, or came to their senses and decided negotiations with such beings are often fraught with peril. Perhaps perhaps the individuals had the means of summoning, but not the means of dismissal. So perhaps the summoning would last for, come up with a, what's a convenient number of months or days or years? 666. What else?
Saying summon something, but not send it back.
Perhaps they had hoped to negotiate with this being and to get into its good graces, and failed, and they just decided to just leave it. Maybe to try again, kind of like option 1, but different, distinct. I mean, we could sit here all day and hypothesize. I guess anything's possible.
Could this, because I know you mentioned the daemon sphere, could this have also been done with the opposite?
Can you be more specific? I'm not sure I follow.
More of the celestial.
Oh, certainly.
So summoning for a celestial being instead of a demonic being?
Certainly.
Because I'm just trying to figure out, because if these were people that were looking to help, it seems like they would find help better from that side, although making promises with a higher powered being is fraught with consequences either way you go.
You mentioned that. One thing that occurs to me that is entirely possible. Perhaps they were what is it's an unfortunate turn of a phrase. Perhaps they were mining this being for ritual components. Perhaps a drop of blood from a celestial, the feather of a wing from an angel, a lock of hair from whatever. Certainly, there are powerful magics that would require what would be exceedingly rare components. Possible. It's also it is eminently possible that a normal human trapped within a circle would neither hunger nor thirst nor age. If for some reason they were trapped. There are any number of explanations.
Theoretically, if somebody was trapped inside a warded room and the ward was not against humans, and we could get in there, would powers that work, such as I don't know, trying to determine how somebody
like could somebody cast magic within the ward itself?
Yes, or at least see if they have any sort of riders per se.
Riders?
I think perhaps I am at least two. Let's be generous and say 3 generations beyond your age categories, and what you are saying makes little or no sense to me.
Somebody that has, whether willingly or unwillingly, another being within them.
Like
possession?
Yes. That's the word.
As he's talking to you, he's walking around.
You're like trying to figure out the word.
He's pulling things off of the shelves, and he's dusting them with either a feather duster or a small bit of cloth, or something like that. He says, I mean, I don't want to sound obtuse, but sure, anything's possible. A human possessed by a devil trapped in a summoning circle that summoning circle would have to be warded doubly against the human and the devil. Possible.
Yeah, that seems pretty much possible.
I don't know what the value would be unless that combination was an opponent, and the best that the opposition could come up with was trapping the bear and making an escape.
No, I was just wondering because I sometimes can sense the auras of people if I try really hard. in focus. So I was just wondering if something like that would be blocked by a supernatural, or if once we got in the room, if that would.
Well, certainly for every power, there is an unpower. For every ritual, there is a ritual that undoes it. For every strength, there is a weakness. So I'm not going to say it is not possible. Certainly the trickiest and most powerful representatives of chaos who attempt to deceive and trick could have powers of, bending the way that they appear. And by that I mean shielding their true nature. Sort of like in D&D, I'm thinking the, conceal alignment sort of spell. That's what he's trying to put into words.
Okay. So what I'm getting, Forrester, is we should be prepared when we go in to have some extra protection and be on guard.
I think generally that is always true. Not always possible. But
I mean, we have it's something that we're dealing with that is supernatural in nature. Maybe we should go and stop by the church again, unless we still have a bunch of holy water and cold iron at home.
Half a gallon left.
Yeah, I would say you have a quart left. You have one of the 4 large sort of ball jars.
The mason jars, right?
Yeah. That are round jars, but they also have kind of a squarish nature to them to make it easier to grip and pick up with that sort of like real sturdy lid. That tamps down as it seals.
Yeah, I think maybe a stop at the church would be good to refresh our water and maybe pick up more cold iron stuff, or maybe ask the father where we can find more cold iron. Wait, no, we could go to the local guy, Vanderbilt. Doesn't he have cool stuff?
Well, I mean, we can borrow back our stuff, because I'm sure Erica would have left the tire iron.
Yeah, that's true. But not all of us have cold iron stuff. I have cold iron slingshot bullets, but I only have like 2 left.
That's because I got 2 from you.
I had salt as well, but I could just pick. We have salt at home.
You have established a substantive list of resources, and if I may say, capable friends and allies. You mentioned Paul Vanderhorn. You mentioned, I guess, Father Michaels, as you said, holy water.
Yes.
These are friends of mine as well.
I think they're good. Wonderful. We can, I'm sure we can pick up some stuff from them, but I'm curious as to where Mr. Forrester came from. Because the witch said that she kind of knew you. Where are you from, sir?
Why? I am from here. At one time I was... Oh, you're going to make me remember this from memory. I think he was. At one time I was mayor, many years ago. And I retired from politics and just decided to stay here and open up shop. I just sort of had just a knack for collecting things. Things just sort of make their way to me. And I do also have a keen eye for appraising the value of things, not just items, but friends as well. And these skills have served me well throughout the years. I suspect I will live my final days and draw my final breath here in East Texas as well. I would consider my life to be fulfilled and well spent when that day comes. I hope I have a few years left.
How did you come across the supernatural aspect?
Like others, some folks just have a knack for it.
Like Shep.
like some of the people that work, I guess, at the National Security Agency just have a knack to look at numbers and see a code or a pattern. Such things just jump out at them. Some youths can watch a game of chess being played, and they can almost live it, and they can see the moves being made, and they can look a dozen turns in advance and see the patterns of these movements, and see the pieces come to life, and see the exchanges being made, without actually being formally schooled in the art of the game. It is like that with rituals. There are individuals that just have a knack, I suppose. I'd be hard pressed to come up with a better explanation. Interest, opportunity, and just an innate level of skill and appreciation for the beauty of how things play together, kind of like a chef with a recipe and ingredients, mixing them together to make something wonderful. He looks at you, Sophia, and you swear his eyes burrow right into the depths of your souls. He has these his eyes are like a pool of a very dark blue, and he says, or an artist who takes a blank, just a blank piece of sketchbook paper, or sets upon an easel, a blank piece of, a blank portrait, and draws upon some dots of pigment and a few brushes and similar supplies, and creates a Mona Lisa. And perhaps not formally taught, it's just in them to create. Something like that. Okay, I'm wrong.
Oh no.
He was twice reelected as sheriff. It was in the late 70s. Today he is in his early 80s, but he still has a trim physique.
So he's okay. So
He's
he
got
was lively in the 70s.
Paisley tie. His eyes are disconcertingly large pupils. He's got peculiarly pointed ears. I'm sorry, a peculiarly pointed nose and large ears. Again, I think he looks like Bogrod the Goblin. Comes to mind.
Yeah, the little Harry Potter picture.
Yep.
My goodness, are you snoring? His little no ball. All right, cool. Well, I think if we're going to go to this bookstore tonight, we need to go and prep. Maybe also prep some ritual stuff, because we know a good handful of rituals.
Yeah.
You think
If
something's
it's
going
going
to
to
go
be
wrong?
dark, if it's going to be dark, you may as well,
Have
get
I
some
collected
honey.
the heal ritual from Forrester?
You have. And as far as ritual components, the methylate or mercurochrome or iodine is very easy to acquire.
Mhm.
The moss, also a readily available component. It's a little distasteful to you that you have to chew it, so you would try to probably shake off as much of the soil that you could.
You gotta wash off that moss.
Yeah, it's got to be living. You think that if you kept it in a moist Ziploc bag, it would stay alive. The hardest of the three components would be the rare component. That is the drop of blood from a religious figure. Just a drop, but it has to be from a pastor, an imam, a nun,
A priest or a rabbi?
priest, rabbi, Native American like witch doctor or shaman. Anyone that you would consider a religious leader.
Okay.
Like a church deacon, probably not. A choir boy or an altar boy, nah.
Somebody that's gone for the higher calling is what I'm getting.
Yeah. Somebody that is like in seminary, it's questionable. Probably not. Not until they graduate.
Okay.
Y'all know better than to fudge around the edges and try to take shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yes.